Welcome to another episode of Drunk Cop and a Teacher, the podcast where everything's made up and our comments don't matter, just like a new Nintendo. It doesn't matter because Mike's still not going to buy it.
Or like that screen you just showed me. It doesn't.
Shut up. That screen's better.
Hey, I am 100% committed to get that Switch because it looks really nice. Can I mention something though?
So you didn't get it?
Huh? No. Pre-orders are not up.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. I already checked. I checked today. I checked yesterday. Pre-orders are not up.
Okay, Mike. What did you want to add?
Yeah, what thing did you want to ask?
You said you were like, can I just say? And I just cut you off.
Yeah.
So what did you want to say?
Oh, no, I just want to say that it's kind of funny how people are complaining about the Switch. That is not that much of an improvement. But honestly, like, Nintendo fans honestly fail themselves for predicting or having their hopes so high.
Yeah, sure. We'll talk about the Nintendo Switch stuff later. That is one of the headlines.
Stupid.
So we'll go over the features and whatnot, and if it's worth even getting or whatever. But before all that, Mike, besides being a disgrace to humanity, how have you been?
I want to quit this podcast, but no, I've been pretty good. You guys had a good July 4th?
I was out of the country, so I did not celebrate July 4th.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, so you're not American.
I was hungover as shit, so we didn't. Did we even leave the house? We did not leave the house.
Really? You didn't do anything?
Surprised.
We were hungover as shit. Yeah, this guy's texting us.
You did it the day before. Okay.
Yeah, it was for somebody's birthday though. We didn't do anything for the 4th, but I'm here sober as shit, like hungover, and Mike over here is like, I'm drunk, something like that.
Yeah, I was drinking. I was tipsy. I was drinking July 4th.
When you texted us? I wasn't even paying attention to what day it was. Okay.
Yeah. So I had a really good July 4th, and then I saw a couple movies. I saw Fatherhood with Kevin Hart. Really good movie. It's like it's funny, it's sad, but like in a good way where like it touches your heart. You know, it's really good. Got a little teary eye, and I was like, you know. And then I saw a piece of shit movie called Two Hearts.
Two Hearts.
Wait.
Yeah, it's. I feel bad for calling it a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, in the plane, he's talking to the girl. He's like, "Can you hold my hand?" Blah, blah. I saw the trailer for
that movie.
I saw the trailer. I was not watching the movie.
I feel bad for shitting on this movie because it's based on a true story. But the thing is, there's nothing interesting about that story whatsoever. It's just about some old man that he was dying. He needed a new heart, and then there was this young kid there. He died, and he's an organ donor, and he donated his heart to that other guy.
So it's not based off Doctor Who or anything with somebody with two hearts.
No, no. Unfortunately, that sounded a lot more interesting than the movie itself. Yeah. And the budget for that movie was $15 million. And worldwide gross, they only made $1 million.
Huh.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, really sad.
I know it's on Netflix. Did it go straight to Netflix or was it out beforehand?
I think it was out beforehand. I don't know. My wife put it on. She was like,
"All right, that adds up. That makes sense."
So, no, usually she doesn't pick bad movies, and for some reason, like I thought the trailer looked bad, and I thought she would too. But I don't know. It's one of those movies where you thought that was going to be good, and it's not. You know. And then I don't know about you guys, but I saw another movie called Fear Street, 1994.
Oh, I did see that one as well.
Yeah, overrated. But anyways, moving on.
Well, don't forget about part 2 coming out this week.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. I think
it was more towards maybe teenagers because I was not very.
I mean, it's based off an R.L. Stine novel, Fear Street, which is supposed to be. But it's not. Goosebumps is like the children's version of Fear Street. Fear Street is supposed to be aimed for teenagers, so that makes sense. Your statement saying that the movie is aimed for teenagers.
Yeah, because this was definitely not made for adults. I'm like, give me some more, and like, well, the next one looks more interesting.
It looks. I mean, it's easily kind of based off of Scream, the first one, and the second one looks like Friday the 13th. That's just
because it's in a camp.
yeah, it's
But
in a
I
camp.
wouldn't even say Scream the first one, just because it actually has demons or ghosts or whatever you want to call them, whereas Scream was a real person or person.
Yeah, true. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's okay. It's not bad, but it's trying to be cool, and it's really not because they add like these like the 90s rock version and shit like that and of music
Well,
and
it did what oh, that's what you just hate that in general because they did that in Captain Marvel.
yeah, and you don't really feel the 1994. There's no gimmick of like, oh hey, you remember this? Hey, you remember that? There was just like the music
Well,
and
they were chatting on AOL, so I
yeah,
mean,
well, that was the only thing. Like,
um,
it's all right. It's not that bad. There's some things that were pretty like the beginning of the movie was pretty cool, but the rest of the movie was kind of like, oh, all right. It's okay. I don't even think a teenager will even fall for this movie, but
That's fair.
I can't wait for the second one. It looks kind of interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much it. What about you, Ham? Besides recovering.
yeah, I think we watched the whole season 3 of 3%. Now we're on the last season. We'll see how that goes. Did I watch anything else interesting? Yeah, that Fear Street. So you got me there, and there's a reason why we watched one with Tom Cruise.
Top
Edge
Gun?
of Edge
Yeah,
of
it's Edge
Tomorrow.
of Tomorrow, you sons of bitches, isn't it? You fuckers. Yeah, saw that for a reason. You'll find out later. Other than that, I haven't really caught up with anything. I really want to get back to watch season 2 of what's it called? Whatever Quest. The one
Mythic
on
Quest.
Apple TV. Yeah, season 2 just came out or just finished, so I definitely want to binge that, and maybe I want to binge Dave season 2's back out. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I got nothing. Maybe Sal will remind me as he starts saying his, jive.
As usual. So obviously I had long plane flights out of the country and back here to America. So I got caught up on a lot of things. For starters, Ham already knows this. I finished Ready Player 2. I finished reading that book.
Oh, nice. How was that?
It was okay. It was not anywhere near as good as the first book. I think the quests were kind of boring, and I think it kind of was a little too preachy on some parts, and it went for a typical like the whole basically like an AI tries to take over, and just like any other AI taking over movie, like the whole goal is to take over the AI, like try to unplug it basically. And the book makes fun of itself for that too. Like it has a whole conversation about how this is the typical thing people do. So it was okay. It just was like exactly the same first book, but it doesn't really do anything exciting to really engross me the whole way. I was kind of bored. So sadly I was disappointed. I also did finish Fatherhood on a plane flight out there.
Nice.
I really liked it. It was good. I would give it a green card. I think Kevin Hart really does a great job in the
Did it
serious
hit you in
part.
the heart?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Like there were some parts that were just like, I'm a father. I can relate. Then I also watched Ice Road. It was a Liam Neeson movie. It's on Netflix. It's basically about how this mining operation was sabotaged by its own company for insurance purposes, I think, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they had like a certain amount of hours to live, and it was up to like this truck worker to carry over like this piece of equipment that was necessary for them to survive. And Liam Neeson was a truck driver, and so the company was like after them, trying to stop them by all means necessary. It was meh. It's not a bad movie. It's boring at some parts, but I wouldn't say it's a bad movie, so I'll just give it like a yellow. It was just
got you.
It was meh. It's not worth watching though. I would skip over it. Like unless you're a super hardcore Liam Neeson fan, sure, but otherwise you can just skip it.
I think his days are kind of done already. He's into like more B movies now. He's turning into like a, because like his breakout role, in my opinion, was Schindler's List, and then Taken. And
Taken brought him back.
Taken brought him back. I mean, of course, he's Star Wars.
Yeah, but recently something good. I mean, he was in that. Oh my god, with 1,000 Ways to Die in the West, which I thought was horrible.
He might just be taking on roles that he just wants to do just for the fun of it. Look at Nicolas Cage.
I mean,
that's not a good comparison.
That's not a good comparison at all.
What do you mean? Yeah, but I was just saying,
because Nicolas Cage is a god.
And he needs money.
Yeah.
He's a god.
Yeah, I don't think Liam Neeson needs money, which is why he's like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yeah.
Oh, so
I will take the role.
I got reminded really quick. Sorry, I saw the greatest 4th of July movie of all time. Any guesses?
Independence
Day. I was gonna say Independence Day.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, I was as actually a comedy. I saw We're the Millers. So yeah, rewatch that. Fell asleep to that.
Never saw it. All right, on my flight back, I watched. What's the first thing I watched? I'll just say I watched Bumblebee. I finally got around to watching Bumblebee.
Wow, really?
Green Card. I would say out of all the Transformers movies,
out of all of them, this is my second favorite Transformers movie. I thought you were gonna say number one.
Well, the first one is still gonna be my favorite, just because it's like that first, oh my god, there's fucking robots, like just giant transformation everywhere. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
This one had a nice story. The acting was, I think, pretty solid, even from John Cena doing his military roles. It was there. It had some of the stupid comedy bits that the other Transformer movies were doing, but it didn't overdo it. It didn't exaggerate it. So I was like, this is cool. This is nice. I like this. This is I can get down with this one.
I'll watch it.
I watched Bad Boys for Life. Finally got around to watching that. Green Card.
Nice.
I really liked it. I thought it was good. Action sequence was good. They still had the same comedy between them, the same dialogue, the banter between them. It was really good.
Are you gonna watch the spinoff?
There's a spinoff?
I'm saying, did you see that they were hinting for the spinoff?
Yeah, but there's no word as to whether or not it's in development or yet.
I mean, it was very obvious what they were trying to do.
I mean, did you see? You saw the mid-credit scene, right?
Yeah, but they're still not there's no word about it yet, right? Obviously, they tease that, but there's been other movies where they tease something and they never go through with it. So,
well, yeah, that's because it went to shit.
Yeah. So, and then the only other movie I saw was, oh my gosh, what was it?
Dynasty Warriors.
Bumblebee. Saw that one too.
Oh yeah.
Ham, I told you this. What was it that I watched?
I remember all the ones you just said.
I watched Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It was okay. I think I would still give it a green card just because of the cameos, mainly because of Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Hart. Although I think the other CIA agent is also probably a cameo, like another guest celebrity, but I don't know who he's from.
He's Papa Bear from Deadpool.
Okay, sure. But Ryan Reynolds was just hilarious in his dialogue, and I mean Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson just did the same thing that they did in the Fast and Furious movie. So I think it worked. I think the story was fun. It's just it's way better than Fast 9, that's for sure. Way better.
Way better. I'll say that is better than Fate of the Furious.
Yes, I would agree as well. I'm just curious if they are actually going to go through with a sequel, because unless I miss something that is an obvious setup for the sequel about how the guy, the head honcho, the computer voice knows Hobbs but doesn't say who he is.
I think Han is
going to be well with money wise. So
it's in development.
Is it?
Yeah. I've read that a while back ago. That, they they're already done with the story, and I have a prediction that Han is going to be in the next one, and he's going to help him find the computer voice guy.
That could just be the next Fast and Furious movie, though, too.
I just feel like they wouldn't show this guy without. I don't know, because it could be both ways. It could be the next Fast movie, or it could be Hobbs and Shaw, because he's like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like they're focusing on just Hobbs and Shaw when they show Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they show Shaw.
They show
Yeah,
Shaw.
show Shaw.
They show Shaw. That sounds so weird.
And that's pretty much it. I caught up on a lot of things, which was nice.
That's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
All right, let's talk about other things we can be proud of, such as this first movie we're going to talk about.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
So I will go out and just fully admit, obviously, and I said this in the last podcast episode, that this was my pick.
Oh,
so
yeah?
Listeners, we're gonna talk about Dynasty Warriors first. Then
the first one?
Yes, the first one.
The first one.
We're going to cover probably a couple headlines, then do intermission. Then we'll talk about Tomorrow War and then finish off with a few headlines. We may not have time for the movie's trivia thing, depending on how long our conversations go. Sorry, Ham. Sorry.
Skip me. Both ways.
Undefeated champ.
Like I said, Dynasty Warriors. I brought this up last week. I said, hey, it's a Netflix movie. And I said first, before Mike does anything else, I said first, Ham and I might watch this. I know I will. Ham might. Mike probably isn't.
It sounds like he's already covering his bases.
And then as I quote, "Oh, is it on Netflix? Okay, I'll give it a try. I'll go ahead and watch it." And I was like, "Are you sure?" You're like, "Yeah, it's fine. I'll go ahead and watch it." I'm like, "Okay, for you, Mike." Man.
The power of friendship, the power of family.
So I just want to be sure that Ham and I did not twist Mike's arm on this one. IMDb gives Dynasty Warriors a 4.8 out of 10.
Damn.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 25%.
Out of 100?
IGN gives it a 2 out of 10. And Ham must have missed a demographic on this one because only 62% like this movie.
Yeah, like I said before, I couldn't find it on Netflix first.
Yeah, you had to search for it.
I had to search for it, and it wasn't. I put and it wasn't even the first one. There was something else called Dynasty, and I'm like, oh, okay.
The synopsis goes: warlords, warriors, and statesmen wage a battle for supremacy in this fantasy tale based on the video games. I'm going to repeat that last part again.
Based off of
fantasy tale based on the video games. So, as we normally would do,
I'm going first.
We'll do our cards first. And then we'll go into a 28-minute discussion as to why Mike doesn't like it. And then Ham and I will talk about the movie. So, Mike, what is your card?
I'm stopping this review right now. We're not reviewing this movie. I don't give a fuck what neither of you guys think about this.
So, is that a Becky?
It's... What's worse than a Becky?
A Dynasty.
This movie is such a piece of shit, man. Oh my God. Listeners, do not watch this movie. Netflix, remove this fucking movie. The thing what I'm so surprised is that they got a pale Asian guy.
Hold on. First of all, Ham, what is your card?
A yellow.
I fucking...
I was initially going to give it a yellow, but because Mike hates it so much, I'm going to give it a green. Okay, hold on. Let's clear something up here, though. I wanted to watch this movie. When I first saw it, I wanted to watch this movie because I'm before, I think, 7. I want to say Dynasty Warriors 7 is where I stopped. I didn't even touch 7.
I think I played all of them.
I was very much like a hardcore Dynasty Warriors fan. 4 was my first entry into the franchise, and I played the shit out of 4. Like, I 127,000% of that game, like, multiple times over, and you had to get some of the weapons. After that, I went back and played 1, 2, and 3, which was kind of painstaking because it was super slow compared to 4. And then after like I think 6 or around 6 is when it kind of started getting a little ridiculous because with the mechanics about like how to create armies and stuff, and I was like, it's a little too much for me, whatever. Because it's a hack and slash game. That's all it is. You literally pick a character, you find upgradable weapons, and you just beat the shit out of thousands and thousands of like NPCs. It's just like Samurai Warriors. It's just like Hyrule Warriors. I did play the extreme one, but I didn't really like it that much. I just like the standard game. So I was excited to watch this because when I saw the trailer, I was like, this is literally to the T a live adaptation of the video game, and there is nothing else to expect from that. Now, Ham, how much of Dynasty Warriors have you played? You said you played all of them, right?
No, technically, I guess I haven't. I've never played the originals. I guess whatever for was it 1 and 2 or?
Well, Extreme started with I think number 5.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about the original Dynasty Warriors, like 1 and 2 for what, the PlayStation?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
So I don't think I played those, but everything else I've played, I think I played up to, was it 9 or 10? Mm-hmm. So played all those, and I played Hyrule on the Switch over there. Wink. But yeah, I've always liked it. It's we used to have funny names for people, like the little generals were wanksters. Yeah, not racist, right? Called one San Juan, Cao. Yeah, I had all my names for certain things. But yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, it's, you could say repetitious, but so is a football game or a basketball game, right, Mike? So
yeah.
All right. Sure. So, Mike, what is your experience with the video game franchise?
I've only played maybe one Dynasty Warriors, and I don't even know which one it was.
It's probably 5.
Maybe.
I don't know. It was a PS3 one.
All right. So to be clear, listeners, if you've ever played, I'm gonna say it confidently, if you've ever played 3 and 4, the first like 2 missions of that game is literally the movie, and they've expanded it so much to fill in like story and like the reasons why they have such god tier weapons. It's that's what it is. You fight against Zhang Jiao, which is
it's always the Yellow Turbans, man.
Yeah, the Yellow Turban Rebellion, who does also like have undead soldiers, which is why you fight so many of them. Like no matter how many you kill off, they keep coming back and back again. And then you just have to kill the wizard, and then that stops everything. But then you find out that Dong Zhao is the one that is like the ruler of him as well, and just wants to take over the entire country, the entire region. But then obviously you have an opposing force who's like, well, we can't take him alone, so let's build up an army, which then you bring in the Wu family. Is it the oh man, I forget the other two, right? Wu, Shu, and there's the third one, basically one that's ruled by Cao, one that, or Cao Cao, I think it is. One that's ruled by Sun Jiang, and the other one that's ruled by Liu Bei. And Liu Bei and Cao Cao are like the main ones that you see in this movie. Although you do see the other one, but the other two are kind of the most prominent. They set them up to be like the 2 main protagonists of the movie. And they just, it's that entire Dong Zhao battle. And they bring in Lu Bu, who's like god tier soldier. You can't defeat him. He's like almost impossible. And in the game, like the first time you encounter him, unless you've grinded out levels beforehand, you're instantly dead by that guy.
Oh yeah.
Like one swipe and that's it. You're gone.
I remember.
And then after taking over Dong Zhao, after they finally killed him, then they try to still rule over as an entire group, like all the 3 families, but then they start to kind of have their own agendas, and that's where you get the split. But that is exactly where the movie ends, before you see the true split of all 3. So as a video game adaptation, it is a literal, like 1-for-1, I could almost confidently say, translation of the video game to a live adaptation movies with extremely bad but extremely cheesy CGI. And the acting is just like your standard, I don't know, I think your standard foreign film acting. Like, yeah, the dialogue is bad, but so was the dialogue in the video game. It was bad. Like, it's
I like when it had some cutscenes and it said the what's happening for
yeah, exactly. It did exactly what the video game did. So that's why I really liked it. I did not expect anything else beyond that. I did not expect Sonic the Hedgehog level, Detective Pikachu level. No, I was like, you know what? Just give me the damn video game, but just put live people instead of doing, the console graphics. So that's why I really liked it. I like that they gave an explanation to like the god tier weapon, even though it was kind of like out of the ordinary. It's a fantasy storyline. It's sure it can be it can be completely insensible. It doesn't matter. But I like that it had that tie-in because I remember having to grind for those super ultimate hard level weapons that you had to do specific conditions for. Yeah, I have nothing. I mean, I could add on more, but go ahead, Mike. Go ahead and continue with your long rant about how much you hated this movie.
I'm gonna keep it short. This movie's a piece of shit. I don't think nobody should fucking see it. I don't think this movie should even exist. Honestly, I fucking hate the characters in this movie. I even started to even hate the actors in this movie. This is the worst foreign film I've ever seen in my life. It's so bad. The CGI is bad. They got a pale Asian guy fucking put brown in his face, a fake beard, and a pillow for a belly. There you go. And slap him in the ass. Like, give him the best you can. This movie was just bad. I don't know. I just didn't find anything interesting. Like somebody who didn't play the video game, I think there's a lot of different movies that they try to do an adaptation of a video game, and usually they don't work. But you could see that there's something there. And this one definitely shouldn't be a movie whatsoever. Not even a bit. Nothing. So whoever made this movie should be fired. Whoever fucking had the idea to make this movie should definitely be fired. I don't want to see another Chinese movie. This movie fucking broke me. This movie fucking broke me. It's so bad.
But it's not so a foreign film. Okay, to support your statement, yes, this for anyone that has not played a single Dynasty Warriors game, don't watch this movie, don't touch it, don't even go near it. It's not worth your time. Like it's seriously not even worth searching. Like that's how bad it is. Like don't even put the letter D and Y in the search
engine. Netflix is trying to hide this movie.
Like, but otherwise, I don't think that should be used as like a standard or something to say like I'm never gonna watch another foreign film or another Chinese film. Like that's not right. I don't think that's the way to go. Like unless you're misstated that or something like that.
I misstated that for sure. I'm misstating it for sure. It's just I'm trying to be over dramatic here.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I mean.
I get it, and that's why I was like worried this whole week, and I was like, "Did Mike really watch it?" Because I know he's gonna hate this shit. Like, I know he's not gonna enjoy any of this. Like, I could already hear all the yelling and bitching and complaining. Like, but
this movie is long.
It's not even. It's almost. It's like it's an hour 58 minutes. Because like I don't know. I liked it. I like the fill-in. I liked it. Okay, Ham, your take on the movie.
Fuck you, Ham. I don't care about you.
Yeah, no, I'll make you watch it again if you don't care.
You're gonna make me watch shit.
Yeah, well, isn't that what you just watched?
You ain't gonna make me watch this shit again. Hell no.
I thought it was fine.
Fuck you.
It's like a kung fu sort of
double fuck you
CGI movie. I mean, there's not that much talking. Of course. There was some
fucking horses surfing.
Yeah, there's some. I'd watch that. Yeah, there's enough story where I'm like, okay, I see where that's going and how they're building characters. I'm like, oh, I never thought how was it Guan Yu had sort of a rivalry. Yep,
rivalry.
Yep. Against Lu Bu and how all that started.
Yeah.
They didn't show much of the Wu, which is San Juan. What is it?
I think Sun Jiang. I think.
Yeah, they barely showed them, so I'm gonna assume they're gonna be more in the movie or the sequel, which I guess we'll watch. Sequel. Yeah, we'll watch that. Though the thing is, it was. I think maybe the company who did the game did this movie, and
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, you could see all it's basically what 90% green screen probably. So who knows how much this actually, was worth making. I don't know, but I liked it. I almost watched the whole thing at work because work was that slow. Almost watched it in one sitting, and yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. They barely showed Dao Chang. She was right in the what 2/3
That's
end
Lu
of the
Bu's
movie.
girl, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, something's gonna happen. I guess we'll wait till the next one. And I disagree. You said 1 to 1 with the movie. This is like 1 to 1/10 because this is literally like you said, the
What?
first 2 levels. So there's a lot more levels to this fucking game. We just got like a
Well, no,
tenth
that's
of
what
it.
I've said. Like the 1 to 1 to those first 2 levels, though. Okay, so let me
Hmm.
rephrase that. It's a 1 to 1 to those first 2 levels.
Okay, thank you. Also, wasn't it the Hulao Gate or was it the Hulao Pass? I thought it was Hulao Gate,
There's
but
both. There's both. There's a gate and there's a pass.
oh shit.
Yep.
So that was maybe we gotta faction out or branch out because in the game there are sort of branches because you can play as the
Yes.
different factions.
Yep.
So I was wondering what side's gonna win, and technically we didn't even start off with the branches. We just had the first few uh, chapters or missions, whatever you want to call them. But I knew what I was getting into. You had an idea, right, Mike?
I don't think he did.
I don't think.
Like, did you
What
did
would
you
you
think
think?
that this was going to be a serious film?
I mean, this movie was a serious film. You see the fucking acting in this movie. My God, they were so. I mean, I guess that's the credit that I'll give it is that the actors were giving it their all. Jesus Christ. Um, but I don't know. Like, I just Dynasty Warriors. Okay, I wasn't expecting for it to be a serious film, but I was expecting it for it to be decent and like well acted and like good choreograph fighting and
Yeah.
I mean, I know what Dynasty Warrior is. It's a over the top like hack and slash game where you're sending motherfuckers flying,
Hell yeah. Oh, that was
and
the best, one of the best scenes where Lu Bu like charged after all of them, had them up in
Oh
the air, and then
yeah,
had the lightning strike. That was from the video game. I was
yeah.
like, yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
he made 5 people fly. Comparing to the video game, but that's just me. That's just I don't know. I just didn't think the movie was. I wasn't expecting for it to be this bad, but it's really bad. It's worse than that. I'm gonna finally say it. This is a Becky card for me. There was something worse than Becky, Dynasty for sure. But this movie did come out this year. So yeah, this movie deserves my Becky. And then next year, I'm calling it Dynasty.
Also, real quick, what settings did you watch? Did you watch it with the American
No,
sub?
no, 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 Chinese.
Oh, really? Because I was
Heck
like,
yeah, I
I know
hate
it's
dub.
I was like, I know it's kind of bad with the dub, just because I
Yeah,
know it
no, don't
wasn't
watch it
filmed
with the dub.
originally like that. But I watched it with the dub because
Oh, you're a terrible human being.
Oh
I need a
Lord.
yeah. Oh, I love the dub. There's nothing wrong with dub.
Uh,
Also, I need to
Yeah,
I need to do stuff while I'm me.
everything is wrong with the
I need to
dub.
listen to it. So
gotcha.
yeah.
What were they had like little Easter eggs? So they did the locations right. They also did the red hair, which is Lubu's horse, which is like it is the fastest horse in the video game, and they showed it true in the movie too. So that was pretty cool. They named a lot of their weapons, I think the right things. Lube had 2 swords, so he had his 2 swords there. Uh, I didn't like. I felt like Liu Bei's brothers, Zhang Fei and oh my gosh, what's the other one?
You
Zhang
said
Fei,
Guan Yu, right?
Guan Yu. Yeah, they
Yeah.
weren't as muscular as they are in the video game. Like they were like, well, at least Guan Yu was like a little too thin. I was like, I don't believe you can really stand up against Lu Bu, but whatever. I didn't like that they didn't have a lot of other characters though. Like at least on like the wizards. Like do they have the wizards like for each of the factions?
Yeah, they had their own like fan. I always called them like the fan guys because I think the Wizards always had like a fan. But
But I don't think they had one for Cao Cao's tribe for his dynasty. Sima Yi? No, I don't think so.
I'd have to look, but I mean, each one had like sort of like a weird, maybe I don't want to say wizard, but like a tactician sort of fan
strategist. It was
wizard guy. Yeah, but most of them were sort of wizards, but not. I don't even want to say wizards. More like they had their smart powers.
Did you have a favorite character in the video game, like one that you always resorted to?
I was like, I liked almost everyone from Wu. Everyone liked Lu Bu.
Lu Bu was alright. My favorite was Zhang He, which was he was in was it Shu, the blue one? Is that Shu?
Of course it's blue. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's the one with the long claws.
Oh yeah.
He was always my favorite. And then I always liked I think it's Sun Jiang's son who had the tonfas, the sticks on his arms.
Was he the oldest or second oldest?
I think he was the youngest, I thought.
The youngest?
Yeah, because he was always the energetic, like he was the energetic, like always like I'm gonna go full force in this and not think about it kind of thing. Because the oldest, I think, was the one that had like the sword and had like he was like more elegant with his sword fighting than any of the other characters.
Yeah.
I don't know. So going back to the movie though, like that was one of my big things about it was like you didn't have like a large cast of these characters that you have in Dynasty Warriors. Like, was I expecting all of them? No, absolutely not. But at least like the closest brothers or like the strategists of each one. So that was a little disappointing there. But I don't know. I had a fun time watching it. I liked it, so that's why I gave it a green. Ham's a yellow, and Mike's somewhere out there trying to go back in time to stop him from watching this movie.
Yeah.
So there you go. Don't recommend it to anyone else other than anyone that's watched a Dynasty War or played a Dynasty Warriors game multiple times. Not like Mike. Mike's only played like 10 minutes of one.
Yeah, the hack and slash.
Let's do a couple headlines before we go into our intermission. We'll do the minor ones. We'll save the video game stuff for last. Marvel Studios and DC Films are both skipping Comic-Con at Home 2021, so don't expect anything from them.
Then we're skipping Comic-Con this year.
There's some people saying though you can still maybe expect a little bit of Marvel stuff on the Sony side because it hasn't been, I don't think, confirmed that Sony is going to make a presence or will not make a presence. So there's still hope for some Sony stuff, which I think people are just wanting Venom 2 information from that. So
fuck Morbius.
Let's talk about Nintendo Switch. We'll talk about that one next.
Okay.
Nintendo Switch finally announced a new model for their Switch line. It's called the Nintendo Switch OLED. I think OLED is part of its official title. And as you can already tell, one of the big features about it is an OLED screen. In fact, it's a 7-inch OLED display. It is coming out on October 8th, priced at $350, so $50 more than the standard Switch console you can get right now. Also, other features include a wider adjustable kickstand that spans the entire back of the system and allows, which is a very nice feature and a nice upgrade from what we get now. Because if Ham will know this, there's like a very thin kickstand on like one side of the console. So it only it freaks me out because like it doesn't support the other side, which makes me think like crap. It's very flimsy, so it's like it's gonna just fall down at any moment. Like it's not good at all. So this wider kickstand is much better. Okay. It has a built-in Ethernet port, which is good because now you don't have to completely rely on wireless connectivity. Why is that such a big deal? Well, if you're going to do online competitions such as Super Smash Brothers, wireless leads to a lot of lag and a lot of connectivity issues. Wire connection is way better. And then I think any console or PC gamer will tell you that the same.
Ethernet I agree, but I also think it's counterintuitive that it is supposed to be portable, but you do want to connect. You know what I mean? But I understand.
Well, the Ethernet port is on the dock.
Oh, okay. Then yeah,
it's on
cool.
The dock. Yeah.
Okay.
But do you still need Wi-Fi for the?
If you're going to use internet on your Switch, then at that point, once you take it off the dock, then you would use Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah. 64 gigabytes of onboard storage for digital game downloads. Doesn't sound that big at all. Obviously not, but it is double. It is double the size of the standard, which was 32.
Oh wow!
And then the uninformative piece of feature here is an enhanced audio, but that's all it says. It doesn't clarify how it's enhanced. It's just enhanced.
Oh man, I was hoping that it came with a soundbar.
People were thinking that was going to be like Dolby Atmos surround sound kind of thing. I'm like, come on a Nintendo console, not that advanced yet.
No,
please.
All right, now the big question: is this even worth remotely getting?
In my point of view, if you don't own a Switch, get it. It's worth it. It's nice. It's a bit of an upgrade from the other thing, especially if you're going to take it off of the dock. And pretty much that's pretty much it. If you have a Switch already, you don't need to buy this. You could buy the dock separately, and boom, you already have a white dock if you want that color, depending on you. I don't know. I wasn't really expecting much from Nintendo for them to do like a Switch Pro, how everybody was sort of like hyping it up, like a Switch Pro is coming. And Nintendo never really teased anything except for something's coming. And boom, it came out and people are very upset, are disappointed. But I just see it as like, okay, they upgraded the Switch a bit for people who don't own one, and games are coming out, and it's still a hot selling console that it's hard to find out there. So I don't know. I think it's cool. I want to get it myself. I don't have a Switch, and it looks really nice. I like it.
Ham, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I do. First question wise, it being OLED, does that mean the games are gonna get better on the OLED?
So good question. There is one drawback, but okay. So OLED we know is kind of like the hot thing on the market right now. TV wise, across the board, everyone wants OLED. Vibrant colors, pixels, all that other technicality stuff that I don't understand, but I bought into it anyway because I have an OLED TV. So everything is going to be vibrant here. You're going to get that same kind of theme or tone that you're going to get from any sort of standard OLED screen. However, the resolution is not improved. So this still only maximizes at 720p.
What?
Which is kind of a weird thing, because if you're going to upgrade to OLED, why can't you upgrade to 1080p? Wait, I don't understand the whole technicality part of all that. So that was kind of like, like a question mark for me at least. But at least you'll get the vibrant colors. You just don't get the finer details of all the stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about that then. Also, if this is coming out, I want to see some price drops from the original Switch at the end of this year and the Nintendo Lite, or whatever you want to call it, the Switch Lite.
I don't see it happening.
I need to see it.
No, it's not, because the only reason why they ever drop previous console prices is because they always price the new one at the same price. So let me rephrase that. If this Nintendo Switch OLED was priced at $300, then you would see the Nintendo Switch console drop down to $250, and maybe the Switch Lite to $150, maybe to $150.
And my other thing is, how do you think this console is gonna do, if you want to call it that?
What do you mean, like sales wise?
Yeah,
not that great, probably. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that. Okay, so here's the problem. I don't know what Ham's take on this anymore is, because he always seems to have just questions and not an opinion.
Because I need to get all the info. I'm so.
I agree with everything Mike said. There is nothing Mike did not mention that I wouldn't have mentioned. If you already have a Switch, don't bother looking at this. There really is no point, unless you have money literally just to throw it in Nintendo's face. Don't bother looking into the Switch. If you do not have a Switch and you want to invest in one, this is the Switch to get. Don't bother looking at the other two Switch consoles. Like, this is the one that you want to take on, because this seems like this is going to be the one that's going to last at least another year before maybe Nintendo decides to make another model of the Switch. And that's where you start to see price drops on the other consoles. So this, I mean, I don't know why people are really that upset about this. I mean, I think Mike said it best. Like, people overhyped themselves thinking that this was going to be the true 4K Pro Nintendo Switch that everybody wanted. Nintendo's never really been one to go for the big features. I think to say that we even get an OLED display with, like, because they could have easily have done this like a 7-inch screen, not an OLED, but a 7-inch screen, maybe up the digital storage and do the enhanced audio, and then that's it, and still would have sold it.
Don't want to agree with that. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
But
I mean, think about the DS, right? How many iterations of the DS sold? We had the DS, the DSi, the 3DS, the 2DS. They all sold, though. They all sold really well. I feel like this will probably sell really well. This will
but
probably
weren't they cheaper?
Barely. Like, what, $50 differences here and there?
Yeah, they were like $50 differences. If not, they were the exact same price.
Yeah.
Of it, I know when the regular DS came out, and then after the 3DS came out into a smaller version, I think that was $250, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken.
I don't remember.
But I know once the 3DS came out, the bigger screen, it was like $100 more.
All I'm saying is, if I'd consider buying a Switch more if the price dropped when this comes out, because I don't know how well this will do, and then if it doesn't do well, then they would maybe have to drop the price. So I don't see them doing that if the Nintendo Switch is the same price.
So the thing is with you, are you worried about the price or just the system itself?
I think 350 is a little too much. They should have put it to 3 and dropped the Nintendo price. Then I think that'd be more appealing. As of right now, I don't think it's gonna do well. I don't have a Switch, but I'm borrowing one, so I don't have to think about it at this point in time. When it releases, I'll look at it more.
I think 350 is fine, actually, for this.
Normally, I would agree with you, Ham, but I think Nintendo's in a really weird spot where we keep referring it to as a console, but we have to also accept that they're also like their new portable console. Like, this is their DS as well. Yeah. So it's like a 2-in-1. So this has got that extra feature of, I can take this console literally anywhere I go and play it without any hassle. I can't say that for the Xbox. I can't say that for the PlayStation.
Can't say that with the Game Pass, and we just talk about. We talked about this.
That's a service. Not talking about the console. Not talking hardware. We're talking about the hardware, not the software. That has like an value to it that Xbox and PlayStation can't put on theirs. Like, they can't add that extra like $20 or $30, whatever value you think that portability allows. Like, that's why I feel like Nintendo is probably still experimenting with its price, and this is a huge, like, jumping off the gun here, speculation, whatever. They might be using this as a test to see what they want to price their 4K one, if they ever decide to do a 4K one.
Only because it's almost $50 less than what the cheaper end model of a PlayStation 5, right? Isn't that 4 without the disc?
Oh, it's $100 difference for the PS5.
No, without the disc.
Yeah, it's $100 difference.
It's $100 difference. Yeah,
it's $450.
No, PS5 is $500.
It's $500 with the disc and $400 digital.
Without the disc, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then this new thing is $350, right?
Yeah, it's only $50 difference.
That's what I'm saying. So that's a little too close for if someone wants, the graphics and all that, like you said, and we've talked about Nintendo not being all that and worried about that, but
also something to consider. They take a cut on their consoles. Xbox and PlayStation take a huge cut. They don't make profit from their consoles.
I know that.
Definitely Xbox. I don't know how much of a difference it is for PlayStation, although I still think they take a deep cut. Nintendo, I don't know where they are with their budget on their consoles. If they actually do take a deep cut, or they just make like, at value, at cost, or whatever. So they may not want to completely undervalue or under budget this, because they, could potentially lose other, money elsewhere. So,
well, to me, you could easily break down the cost for that $50, because for 64 gigabytes, if you search up online, it's like $11, $15 right there, right? And then the OLED is an additional $15, so you're at $30 right there. And then I'm guessing just because of the colorway, it's the rest.
Yeah, but also I can argue that for a system that games don't drop until what, 5 years maybe?
Yeah,
no,
but
there's
again,
there's been games that has coming out for Switch. It's just,
well, no, he's talking about like drop in price.
Yeah,
right?
because in 1 year you can buy a Xbox or PlayStation game for $30.
yeah, but
True.
Nintendo's not known to drop prices.
That's what I'm
they
saying.
also don't need to, because they still they still have people that buy those games.
No, I understand that, but for the value and everything for a 720p sort of portable console, I
And
just
Metroid
can't pull the
comes,
trigger.
But
and
also,
Metroid comes out that week.
Also consider too, how many actual users of consoles really do know the difference between a 1080p and a 720p, or
Not
even
much.
like a high res and a standard resolution. Like we can talk all that mumbo jumbo shit, and yeah, it sounds cool and it sounds great, but how many of us really can tell the difference between
I can tell the difference between a 720 and a 4K. Now coming up to 8K soon, TVs are gonna drop. So
well, that's now you just jump 2 tiers though. We're talking
that's
just
what I'm
720
saying.
and 1080.
This
though.
new one
We're
is
just jumping 1 tier.
correct?
Yeah, well, it's always been
720.
720. But
Exactly.
again, tell me a game from Nintendo that I want 1080p graphics out of.
Any Link game that's pretty good.
Any Link game?
Breath
Even
of
like
the Wild.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is probably the only one I can think of. Maybe Odyssey.
Well, I gave you one. So.
This goes back to the argument, and we have to wrap it up here, and we'll probably do intermission. But we always have the same argument. We always resort to the same answer. Nintendo's never really, sold us for its graphics. It's always sold us for its gameplay.
Exactly, but they could be so much better if they did.
But they don't have to, and I think that's where they're
but they could be so much better if they did that.
Again, they're still experimenting. I'm giving them the benefit of doubt. I think this is not really that big of a deal either. Like it is. If you don't like it, then just pass up on it. I don't think Nintendo is really doing hardcore trying to, because if they did, they would have done it better than just tweet it out and say, hey, by the way, there's a new console.
I just want to see this. Mike buying a Switch. That's all I want to say.
Hey, it might happen, I'm
not might. He says it might happen.
Hey, it might happen, but I'm not over here arguing about the price.
Oh, prove my point, please, Mike, please.
Right,
but I don't know. I'm just saying. I think the price is fair. I don't think it's bad. I think, everything that what Nintendo is doing is correct, and I don't know. I don't think at this point they're trying to prove anything. They're here to stay, and they've been doing great.
They're not. There's a meme about it.
I mean, there's always memes about everything, but in business wise and how the gaming community is right now, Nintendo has been doing fantastic.
Nintendo's a turtle. Slow and steady wins the race.
And that's true. And
not about last year. Yeah.
What? Okay.
I'm just saying. I think they had them. I think they have been. I think they did better than the Xbox One.
All right, we'll save the other headlines for the second half. Go ahead, Mike. Do that thing that you normally do, and we always make fun of you about.
Intermission.
The Tomorrow War, an Amazon original exclusive starring Chris Pratt. Also has J.K. Simmons. IMDb gives this movie a 6.7 out of 10.
Ooh.
Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 55%.
Oh, okay.
Metacritic gives it a 45%.
That doesn't matter. Metacritic never mattered, but what does matter is that Google user.
Yeah.
Well, let me just tell you, I think Ham forgot to send out those invitations.
I was busy this 4th of July, so
apparently you didn't even watch it with your boys because there's no rating for Google users.
Wait, what?
There's nothing here.
Told you I was hungover. I don't know.
There's no Google users. Not even a 0%.
You forgot to send the email to your cult?
Yeah, I forget to even do my percentage. Oh man.
The world is stunned when a group of time travelers arrive from the year 2051 to deliver an urgent message. 30 years in the future, mankind is losing a global war against a deadly alien species. Cards, and then we'll go into a discussion of our likes and dislikes of this movie. Mike?
Of course. Spoilers, everybody. So go watch it and come back and, and hear our opinion. Yellow card.
Ham.
Red.
Wow. Okay. Fuck. I liked it. I'm gonna give it a green card.
Oh God.
I'm gonna. Okay. So I'm very curious to see why Ham hates this so much. Here, really quick to sum this up, in case you didn't get it from the synopsis, listeners. Basically, Chris Pratt. I can't even say his name. I'm like Ham now.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt plays a teacher / veteran, right? Because he was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
He is eventually gets he starts off as being a teacher, teaches about science, go figure, and then watches a football game, and in the football game, as they kind of pan to it, there's a group of people that just teleport out of fucking nowhere right in front of everybody in the stadium and says that they are the future versions of themselves and that there is a war going on against an alien species that they have to fight, or they're there to recruit them to fight, to help them fight against the alien species. And so they take them in squads every 7 days, because for some reason on that 7th day, the alien species, they go into like some sort of nesting or resting mode. They don't do anything. So that's kind of like the prime time to get new people in, get them suited up, geared up and everything. And then they continue to fight the alien species and then they have like a timer on them and they go back to their present time. Chris Pratt's character comes in because when he gets recruited, he meets his future daughter, or his daughter, but the future version of her daughter, which ends up being like the whole brains of the operation. The whole time raft, I think that's what they called it, and is also trying to find a counter virus or something like that to basically wipe out the entire alien species.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that because there is additional stuff to it, but we'll get there later because I think that's just kind of a more interesting take to talk about.
Yeah.
Ham, why do you not like this movie?
Pointless. Fucking pointless. No, when I mentioned earlier, I'm like, I needed to cleanse my palate, so let me watch something sort of similar. And I watched Edge of Tomorrow, which is a way better movie and somewhat has a weird time thing to it. Whereas this,
but it's different.
It is different. It's bad. It has a cool premise, but it's null and void in the stuff they do throughout the whole movie. Okay, cool. You come back, you need people, and then what? It just, oh my god, they make a cure, and why? They're just blowing shit up at the end. It's just everything. It sets up cool stuff, but then it's like there's no payoff. It's like, why even say stuff and then have people be like, but why don't you do this? It's like, but why didn't anyone else think of it? Why is everyone now figuring this out? I don't understand. They could have just, why couldn't they just send everyone to the past and live there fuck everything else. Especially when almost everyone was dead. How many? 5,000? 50,000 people?
There's 500,000 people left.
500,000? Oh, okay. Also, there was maybe paradox and all that, but
well, no,
whatever.
they avoided that.
Yeah, but yeah, they try to explain everything to a point where like, okay, that makes sense. But the more you think about it, it's like, nah, you could have done something else. Like, I don't know.
I disagree, but
yeah,
and
I disagree
which
too.
part specifically?
Hold on, let me
I think.
Go ahead.
What I'm gonna say as a counter is, well, not as a counter for you, him, but I will say this, that this movie does need a better writer.
Yes, 100% agree.
I will say that, because there's some things that I felt like it was kind of a waste of time, because I was thinking about the same thing too. I was like, well, how come you couldn't get people to some people in the future, and or they were saying that everything was held like almost like a glue and rubber band to get people in the future, and even people from the past, because they landed on something happened that they were landing on top of the roof of
They don't explain that.
in
Did
Miami.
they explain that?
Yeah,
they were under attack.
They were malfunction. Actually, it was like a malfunction.
Cool.
Yeah,
In the
because
system.
the thing was under attack. Like the time raft thing was being fucked with, basically.
Sure.
Something like that. I'm not too sure. I forgot. I thought it was just like a glitch in the system, because they do mention that everything is sort of in detail. They were saying that the system was being held by rubber band and glue.
Yes,
So,
metaphorically, yes.
Metaphorically, yeah. So that's how I saw it. But regardless, though, but I think the movie wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. Of course, there's some things that definitely need some polishing, better writing. I think what saved this movie for sure is the directing and everybody else. Like Chris Pratt did a fantastic job. It was
Good old
cool to
Chris
see.
Pratt.
It was cool to see J.K. Simmons in this movie too.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought
There
it
was
was really
not
well.
enough J.K. Simmons.
It was not enough, and I
Sure.
agree with you on that one. And it was not enough of the other. What's his name? The comedian, the Sam Richardson, I think his name is Sam Richardson.
Oh,
Charlie.
the
Charlie?
comedic person or whatever.
Yeah, Charlie. Yeah, I would have loved to see him more in the movie. I would have liked to see something like, I would have loved to see maybe like a Suicide Squad theme of the mission, instead of just having just them landing on the roof, going to go save what was it called, this team, get the syrup, get the whatever they're making, and then go out. And I don't know, I would like for them to see a little bit more of the world. But I think what they shown and how the action scenes were, this movie was great as an action movie. I thought it was really fun. I enjoyed it. I was entertained. Of course, when you think about the story, it is kind of stupid.
I literally was scoffing out loud at. Let's say, wait, that person,
It
65% of the movie, I think I was just scoffing at. Man, let's go 75%, just scoffing on it out loud because I'm just like,
right,
I just,
but
yeah, I don't know.
the thing is that how many of us growing up have had an idea of like aliens attack, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know why, I just had the inner kid in me just come out, and I was just like, man, you know what? The story's stupid, but I'm having a lot of fun watching it.
Well, it seems like they picked out pieces from everything known from time travel and aliens or whatever, and just try to put it all together, and it just didn't make any sense.
I just felt like it's Starship Troopers.
Oh, you would look, yeah, that was so much better.
I mean, I wouldn't say like the first Starship Trooper was good.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know. There's only one. There's only one.
Oh yeah, there's only one. But you know what I mean? I will compare it to this movie. It was good.
I compare it. One's a good one and one's a bad one.
Yeah,
but isn't Starship Trooper supposed to be like a comedy action?
Yeah.
It's an allegory for fighting communism. The book is very dark.
So it's it's a parody to begin with. Like
Yes,
it's comedic.
yes.
So
it's
you really can't compare those two because one is purposely set up to be comedic and entertaining, while the other one's supposed to take on a serious role, and that's going to be very dependent on how
this
you
was
feel
all
about
supposed
the
to be
movie.
serious. This is all serious.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, except for the comedic lead and all his interactions, but other than that.
But regardless, though, I think to end my review, um the only thing that bothered me was the ending of the movie. I like the fight between of the aliens, but the way that they got there and the kid with the volcanoes, I'm like,
I thought that was kind of funny, but then it's like,
and I just thought about, I don't know why, but I just thought about that Godzilla versus Kong scene where
no, it's nowhere near as bad as that. No, no,
it was
no. I'm
gonna compare it as that.
No.
Give me your 7-Eleven, man. But I just found it kind of ridiculous how these small group of people figured it out. Well, you have like these geniuses, and like I don't know why they couldn't show the aliens. Like it's just like, hey, this is
everything was dumb. Every excuse. I'm saying excuse, not even reasoning for what they said or what they did. It was just dumb. Let's just say whatever and like keep going.
Yeah, I mean, but regardless, though, I recommend this movie for people out there who's just trying to watch a good fun movie and just shut off your brain and just watch it, because the aliens are great. The alien designs, I will say, is fucking awesome. I love it. I love their alien design. The characters are good in this movie too. The director did a fantastic job. The story needs help, but I would have loved to see a part two. I hated that they ended it so fucking abruptly like
what do
that.
You mean abruptly? It just ended.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
okay, all right. No, go on. Go ahead, finish.
No, I would have, because the thing is, like, I would have liked for them to just like, all right, get ready for the war, and then, boom, end credit, and get ready for a part two or something. But that's just me. But go ahead, Sal. I know, I took too much time.
No, well, I mean, I think we can still discuss things further. It's just you guys have mentioned a lot of pros and cons. I guess what I'm gonna do is just try to reason it. Like,
give me some pros, please.
Well, first of all, like you keep saying that they explain it, but it's dumb. So is it that you just don't like their explanation, or that they don't have an explanation? Because that's different.
That's
because
both.
They have an explanation, right? They don't send anyone older than 40 because it creates some sort of weird paradox, right? Because again, and that's every time travel movies, they always encounter that whole, I can't. You remember, you can't talk to yourself, you can't, look at yourself, like you don't do anything, otherwise it's gonna fuck the timeline. And so they avoided all that by making sure that they only send people that would not ever see their past selves. They also explain what is it about how they why they're even being sent to begin with, right? Because their whole purpose that they're being told is that they're helping to fight the war, but that wasn't their purpose. Their purpose was to stall as long as possible to make sure that the daughter finds a counter to the aliens, so finds a way to inject them.
Until that later.
Yeah,
so let me break it down.
What's wrong with that?
No, but they don't know that. She's the one that sort of knows
right.
that. And then
that was her grand master plan.
The people who die, the people who they pick die pretty soon before the war. But there's 500. What is it? What'd you say? 500,000 people. Why couldn't they pick other people who died during the war? They picked people that were earlier. So I also don't understand why they couldn't have picked younger people that died during the war. She's using a counter.
Because it's like a paradox thing. They're only picking people who are not going to survive in the next 30 years.
But there was you could have younger people. Most of the people, like they said in the movie, said around their 40s. Why couldn't they have someone 18 that probably died at the end of the war? I mean,
that's the draft.
members.
Well, that's the draft.
That's what he did with the daughter.
That was purposeful though, because she wanted his help to find that vaccination or whatever you want to call it, like a serum. She wanted purposely his help because he was a science nut.
What did the serum do at the end?
It killed the alien.
It bonded
the explosion killed the aliens too?
Yeah, the explosion. Okay.
So why do you need the
That's true. The C4.
Yeah, why'd you need the counter if you could just blow them up?
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can argue everything. Why?
Hold on, sir. First of all, you're only arguing that so far because
I've argued everything. I keep going on.
You didn't win the other one. Anyway, hold on. Before we get to that part, right?
Called her with a knife. What the fuck?
Before we get to that part, what other things earlier that you had problems with? Like,
I hated everything.
But why?
I was just everything's.
But
I do like the idea of the bracelet or whatever.
Oh yeah, because you thought of the Pit Boy.
I never even thought about that. Oh, that's actually good. No, it's because I know that the military does keep technology for a decent amount of time until releasing to the public. But and he did say it was a second generation, so that actually sort of almost adds up. But what? Okay, keep going. Keep mentioning stuff.
Well, I've to kind of go against what Mike said, that he didn't like how it just ended. Like, it's not an abrupt ending. It just ended. Like, I like the fact, like, okay, I was gonna pose this question for like another discussion on another episode, but we don't have to have it here. But do people remember what movies were like before MCU?
Oh God,
where we could just go to a movie and just expect a full movie and not for anything to linger, right? Not for any teases or any sort of like, oh, what's to come next? Like, you just had a full movie, and this reminded me of that. It was like, oh, I can just enjoy this movie. And it was nice to have that add-on where there's like no tease of anything, that's going to happen in the future. Like, it's just, it ended. They finished it. It's the job is done. That's it.
What would have been an abrupt ending would be him getting sent back to his time period with the serum, and then it cuts. That would be
which is what it kind of seemed like they was going to do that, which is why I kind of stalled on that last part of it. So to go beyond that, after they find, so the daughter ends up finding the serum, and then sends her father back into the present time to tell them, hey, you need to make a lot of these because we need to use them against the species when they do arise, and that way we can win this war before it even really starts. But however, I guess the stupid government guy didn't want to fund it or whatever. It was like, no, this is dumb. Like, you have no proof that you can find these alien species, blah, whatever. That doesn't help or pan out because Chris Pratt finds a way to recruit a team, gets enough of the thing created. They go find a ship, which happens to be in the middle of fucking nowhere underneath Russia, where a volcano would have erupted, or near where a volcano would have erupted. I don't remember.
Where it erupted already.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot.
It had ash under it.
There's a lot of other details and technicalities to that we don't need to get into, but they find a ship, they blow it. They were going to first inject it, which is, I can kind of start to see where Ham's problem comes in. They start to inject these alien species with that serum. They start to die off, but then some start to get loose, and then they start to the mother one, the big one, the queen of the entire colony, starts to escape, and so they end up blowing up the ship. But now they have to go find the queen, and that's where we get Chris Pratt and the dad have more screen time there because they go hunt it down. They end up killing it, and in the end they win. That's it. There's no tease of anything for a sequel, which is, I think, fine. That's
better for me.
It's good. I don't have to, break my head thinking about, oh, what does this imply for the sequel? What does this mean about this character? Does that mean this character's still alive? As much as I love the MCU movies, I feel like too many movies nowadays are doing that, where they have to, they feel like they have to add some sort of post-credit scene to be like, we may not ever make a sequel to this, but we're gonna try to catch your interest by teasing you with something, so that way hopefully you'll say, hey, we need a sequel, and then that'll give the studios enough time, enough motivation to be like, okay, we're gonna fund these guys and give them a sequel. Like this watching this movie just made me, I don't know, satisfied with just watching a movie
Don't
just
say
for the fun of it. But okay, besides the ship blowing up part, what else like that? There's what else? Like I don't get what else is gonna
everything. That's everything. Like also, I hated that. So they. What was it? They're back, but then the other two just disappear. He's like, take care of them, but they don't do anything. Like Chris Pratt, he goes with his daughter, but then they just disappear, and then they come
go on
back.
Another mission.
I wish I would have seen that.
Said that.
I wish I would have seen that.
Why? Okay. So you just don't like Chris Pratt.
He was.
Oh,
fine.
you're fucked up.
That's what that's exactly what that comes down to. You rather see that than see Chris Pratt.
Well, I would like to see the other characters interact with him rather than him really not interacting with the daughter. It's like, oh, you left and then left, but you're gonna leave, and then you left, but you might leave anyway. It's like, okay, cool, just like his dad. Great, seen that. Why don't you kill the queen before all the motherfuckers are coming? You already made the serum. Why not kill the queen so not all of them are trying to protect her? Why can't you do that?
I will say this,
know where
though.
The queen was.
They had the queen with her. No, in the future.
No, they found the queen later on.
No, they found the queen. Yeah,
well,
and they extracted they got the 100% whatever, and then. Why didn't they kill the queen when all the motherfuckers are coming on the whatever
because
oil
they were
rig?
trying to prevent the whole invasion to begin with. So if they killed the queen, then you're still left with that many people that were just there at that.
Yeah, exactly. But they only had one dose. Deal with that though.
What?
She wouldn't have died. They didn't have to deal with that scenario of all.
No, but her goal wasn't for her just to survive. She wanted to stop the entire.
I know. I understand that, but we didn't need that scene. They could have just killed the queen. That's what I'm trying to say.
But they couldn't. But the thing is that we needed that scene.
She wouldn't have found the serum.
Yeah.
After they found the serum, there was still time to kill the queen before all the guys were coming to protect her.
Yeah, but the thing is that they only had one dose.
Her discovery of the serum.
But as Sal said, she was sending him back. It doesn't matter how many doses. She only was making that one dose.
Sure. Well, we don't know what plan was after. No, I know what he's talking about. We don't know what the plan was afterwards because her escape happened just after she found the serum. Literally just happened after she found the serum. Remember?
But all the guys were they weren't there yet. They were coming to get her. She made it last second, but then if they killed her, what the aliens would do? They don't have a job to protect her anymore.
They probably get more pissed.
They will get more pissed and kill everybody.
I don't know. I don't know. Their job, what they said, was to protect her. If she's
here's what really happened. See, I think what happened was Ham delivered 5 orders and none of them tipped him.
Oh, I was off. I was off the whole weekend. I was off Thursday.
Oh, he wasn't getting paid to watch this. That's why. Maybe. He wasn't on the clock to watch this movie.
Maybe. I was off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Because I think you're just being way too hard on this movie.
I am, and I don't know why, but I might maybe please it with a yellow, but no, I still want to give it a red. I mean, I'll give it a green for what movies are on Amazon, but...
I thought this was better without remorse. I like this one better without remorse.
Me too. This was good. 10 times better without remorse.
I think this is a nice, hey, it's Friday night. Let's have a movie. Stay in. What do we want to watch? What else haven't we watched? Oh, we haven't watched Tomorrow War. Pop in Tomorrow War. I think it's worth watching at least once.
Yeah, I think it's really worth it. I think it was really good. I think it's a movie where you have to turn off your brain and just watch it. And I will say this: the part when they first showed the aliens in the stairs was the most intense and funniest scene in the movie, because you have that random comedian guy where he's just yelling shit.
Yeah, okay, I did like that. I mean, but
you see, yellow card for you. You got to change it. I highly recommend it.
I was already scoffing at it when I'm went to Amazon and I see that one row is the poster, but each square you can click on it and you just start the movie, and I'm like, okay. Did you remember that?
No.
No.
Well, I was watching it on a TV, and it had, you know, on it on the big center, and then one row, just all the characters, and each row was a square just to click on the fucking
What's
movie.
funny about this though, since you mentioned that, is that the Amazon boxes, anything you order from Amazon, sometimes their boxes are full of like it's covered of Tomorrow War
Really?
posters. Yeah.
Really?
All around it.
Well, to be fair, I wonder if they did that without remorse. Because like it's their original stuff, right? This is the first time we're
Yeah.
hearing actual like kind of big name actors on a streaming thing, kind of like with Netflix. So it's
Mhm.
probably their way of promoting their own movies. Like, hey, this is not like a Sony title. This is our title. So let's self promote.
I
I
will
think
say this though, like it's really cool that Amazon made this movie because they made Without a Remorse and they made this, The Boys, Invincible, and um and they're like I feel like they're like stepping up on making movies. Look, like unlike Netflix where they're kind of making, I mean, nothing really impressive because
I'll give them a nice try, guys. Nice try. Next
Okay.
time, maybe, yeah. I'm sure they put a lot of movie. I'm sure they put. Oh, it's the #1 movie on Prime Video. Nice. I'm sure they put a lot of money into this,
yeah.
and they're supposed to be. It's their #1 summer blockbuster. But saying,
I
"Hey, it's the
mean,
#1 movie on Prime,"
I'm
doesn't say much.
I'm sure Chris Pratt ain't cheap.
Yeah, he ain't
Exactly.
cheap.
I'm sure they put a lot of money.
Into Chris
And
So
Pratt, yes.
yeah, so we have two yellows and one green. I highly recommend.
No.
Whoa!
It's okay. No,
I'm
that's
still
accurate.
on
That's
red.
accurate. That's
Hmm.
accurate.
You
All
said you
right.
like something, so
Yeah, I
It
can
was
like
fun.
some things.
It was fun. Go check it out, listeners. All right.
it was fun.
Let's
Uh,
move into the last bit of headlines here.
Sure.
Let's start with this one. Ubisoft working on Assassin's Creed Infinity,
Fuck
reportedly
you.
a Fortnite-like evolving platform. Now, I'm only going to read the quote here from a statement. It wasn't clear if this is a statement from Ubisoft, although Ubisoft did confirm that it is working on a long-lasting game. So here's what the quote says. Rather than continuing to pass the baton from game to game, we profoundly believe this is an opportunity for one of Ubisoft's most beloved franchises to evolve in a more integrated and collaborative that's less centered on studios and more focused on talent and leadership, no matter where they are within Ubisoft. And also to clarify that, they always seem to trade off between two different studios. There's always like the main studio that works on like the main like headliner titles, and then you have I think it's Ubisoft Montreal that works on like the spin-offs as well as like the occasional like every other Assassin's Creed title. And so that's what they're trying to say is that they want to build one long-lasting game that it doesn't matter who works on it, it's still going to work towards that same goal.
So they're
So
trying to build a destiny.
yes. I agree. I would agree with that statement.
So do you want to build a game that's long lasting, but they're going to make you pay a $60 game, and then on top of that, a seasonal pass, and then once that seasonal pass is over, you have to pay another seasonal pass,
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So, got you. You thought you were clever, Ubisoft. You thought you were clever.
How many takes on this before I add in mine?
so is that what it actually is?
That's what it's sounding like. They haven't given any
Okay.
details, any sort of updates, nothing. They just this is what they said that they're gonna work on one title that's more collaborative, that's less centered on studios, and focuses on talent and leadership. It's gonna be a game that continues on no matter who works on it.
With what you just said with that phrasing, that sounds cool. But did you mention something about Fortnite before that as well?
The headline says a Fortnite-like evolving platform where there's like seasons, where it's like there's seasons basically.
Okay.
Where I think the better comparison is exactly what Mike said. It's like Destiny.
Well, I can compare it to Fallout 76 because I played that one.
No. This is gonna be a better game.
Fallout 76 took down their sort of Fortnite thing, and there's seasons on the adventure mode. It's just a free season to get free stuff, and you just have to complete stuff. It's not, you don't have to pay for it. That's the wording sounds cool if they do it right. I can imagine having just like a bunch of like buildings and each person's in their, Assassin's Creed uniform or outfit, whatever you want to call it, having different skills or maybe different skill trees. Maybe having different assassins from the different games. But this is just awarding it. This is just the first step, maybe not even the first step, the drawing board of what they're going to do, right?
Yes.
So there's not even anything to really talk about yet, right?
No, but there's a lot of things around this that okay, so let me go into my take here. I don't think Destiny gets credit for doing something that needs to be done, but I don't know if people are ready for it. So multiplayer games are easy to get people to play forever, right? You just keep updating the game types, you keep putting in skins, you can have someone keep playing a multiplayer game for years and years and years. But how do you do that for a single player game? How do you get someone to play a one player game over and over and over again without them really getting that burnt out? And I think this is where Destiny kind of started implementing that idea of like, okay, let's add events, let's add this. Yes, it still has that online multiplayer part to it where you still rely on other people. But I think that's like kind of the stepping stone to what single player games probably need to start doing in order to get repetition out of them. I think this is kind of where Halo was kind of going towards that same concept, because it seems really weird that multiplayer is a free to play thing and that we're paying $60 for a single player experience. How do you fulfill that knowing that, Halo has always been this straightforward 1 to 12 mission campaign? There's another game that is doing something similar to this, but you get the idea. It's like I initially was going to come into this conversation thinking that okay, they just don't want to make any more Assassin's Creed games, so they're just doing this one game, just giving them to a C team and just do whatever. I think they're starting to try to get an early jump start on a trend that we're going to start to see here probably in a couple years.
And I still have to go back to Fallout 76. Sorry, guys. You can play the game solo. You'll see people around. I mean, they can join you. They can ask if you want to join, and you can say yes or no. You don't really need people. But they do try to. Everything they do, not counting if you want to upgrade appearance, which that is also free, and then some other little minor things. It is free, but you just have to have whatever. Just pay for an internet connection or whatever you want to call it, Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. So it is a little slow when it comes to updates and new stuff, but I think that's why they have the seasons. They have the DLCs that come out. One just came out today. But if some company, Ubisoft, does it a little quicker, I don't see a problem with that being a thing. But
it's kind of
fuck it up.
It's true, but it's like I feel like at a point I'm going to miss the original style of like, give me 10 missions, give me a beginning and end to each mission, and then that's it. Let me just end it there. But I think this whole ever evolving platform is like that's where you can justify like that 60, 70, whatever value that these next gen games want to put. Like that's how you can justify their cost. It's like, hey, you're buying one game here that all you're gonna do is just update this game throughout. Yes, it may cost you an extra $10 for each update, but it may be it may just be like once a year or twice a year at most. Like I don't know. I think that's like a whole nother discussion we can have. Like, is it worth it? Is that even like the value? Is it there?
On the game. Yeah.
That's.
Oh, well, I can compare that to what is it? Elder Scrolls Online, which every time there's a DLC, they charge you. I don't even know how much it is. The original game is $60. You have internet connection, you play all that. But then every DLC that came out was like what, $30 maybe?
Yeah, so just like Destiny.
Yeah, so that's when I'm like, I
and
don't
as much
know.
as I can shit talk about Destiny and other people can shit talk about Destiny, Destiny I think was still a good game, regardless of how repetitive it was. Yeah, I would say so. Like, yeah, like we can get into you can get into an argument of like, oh, they like totally did not give you the value of the money. Like, and I agree, I completely agree with that. Definitely the first one, like there's barely anything there. But overall, as an entire game and where it is now, like they are good games. They're solid. They're fun to play with, especially if you have other people to play it with.
Yeah.
All right, we have other video game headlines to talk about. Let's switch to Gears for just one headline here. A
Gears
movie
of War?
one. Yes, we're going to play Gears of War. Yeah. Jurassic World Dominion and other Universal films will stream on Peacock 4 months after theatrical release in a new deal. The accelerated window between theatrical and streaming will cover films from Universal, Focus Features, Illumination, and DreamWorks. Now, just based off the headline alone, okay, if you don't want to see Jurassic World in theaters, but you have Peacock, you can watch it 4 months after its theatrical release. This next little bullet point here is going to sound confusing at first, so I'll explain it after I read it. For the first and last 4 months of the 18-month pay one window, Universal movies will be exclusively streaming on Peacock. They will be made available to other partners for the 10 months in between, though these partners have not yet been disclosed. So to try to clarify this, because I think I understand what it means. I had to read it multiple times to figure it out. Once it hits streaming, right, after that 4 months, a company is allowed to just give their movies to a streaming service and say, okay, you guys can stream it for this long, whatever, just pay us this much, done deal. They're saying that they're going to stream it exclusively first on Peacock, and then after that first 4 months, it could be on Peacock and Netflix, or Peacock and, I don't know, Hulu, Peacock and whatever other streaming service. But then after 10 months, they cut off the other people and say, now it's only on Peacock.
So okay, let me sort of repeat that with me knowing the knowledge here. So after 4 months, after theaters, it goes straight to Peacock, but they can give it to whoever wants to buy it, whatever streaming. And then after, is it 6 months or 10 months total?
After so once it hits it hits theaters for 4 months.
Yep.
Then it hits to streaming, but the first 4 months of that is going to be Peacock.
So that's not, now we're on 8 months after that.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you have other partners that can jump in on this and say, okay, well, we want this movie as well. But then the last 4 months after that, then it's only on Peacock.
4, 8, 12? Are we doing 12 months or now in total?
Maybe. It's still
that's where I want to see where
the weird. But regardless, it's one of those things where I feel like the streaming services are now going to start going after the fear of missing out, where it's like, well, you know, your buddy over there that's got our paid subscription is going to be able to watch it, and you can't because, you know, you don't have our service. You want to watch on your Netflix that you've had all these years? Well, too bad. You're going to have to wait a few more months. I think that's where they're trying to get people at. Like, they want the first dibs, right? They want people to watch it first somewhere, but mainly on their platform.
Well,
it's a bit confusing, but it's just like you said, if they're just trying to get viewers or trying to bait people in buying their subscription, especially Peacock, because I don't know anybody who has Peacock. I don't know if you guys still have the free subscription of it.
No.
I forgot it had a free subscription.
It's probably people who love The Office and Parks and Rec.
But I don't even think those two shows can even make you buy the subscription of Peacock.
I know some people who love that shit, so
true,
I wouldn't. Of course, I wouldn't.
Yeah. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't even bother even doing that either. But sure, I know probably HBO for sure is going to be one of the partners.
But once we
get Hulu,
get a whole list, I think most places are just doing theater first, though. Do they still have to do theater first?
I don't even know anymore.
Me neither. Actually, I need a list of all the people now because it's getting ridiculous.
Because Disney fucked up with Black Widow, where it's doing a theatrical and streaming. And apparently, there was another headline. I didn't put it on here because I don't know how factual it was. The supposed hot take on that was even Kevin Feige didn't know it was going to get a theatrical release. They did it without him.
Also, they're even more fucking up because they have it's the premium access, whereas Peacock won't have a premium access, or would they?
They won't,
unless they do an HBO Max thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also another curveball, the premium access, because either way, I'd rather just go to the theater.
But the movie's coming out before it hits the streaming service, so.
That's what I'm. So no, wait. Black Widows?
No. Jurassic World. Okay. Dominion, right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna come out 4 months later. It's gonna go on Peacock, and then whatever other streaming service that wants to purchase it for just a month or so, and then later on goes back to Peacock full.
There was one thing that I forgot to add on here, but it was kind of I had to reread the article a couple of times too to make sure I kind of saw the loophole. So it says in the headline 4 months after theatrical release. Within the article, and I don't know if this is like a typo, the wording to it wasn't 4 months after release. It was up to 4 months or within the 4 months. So using a hypothetical here, if they wanted to, they could easily just put Jurassic World Dominion on Peacock 2 months after theatrical release if they wanted to.
Well, what's the minimum then that it has to be in theaters? Minimum?
It just probably has to be that first the 4 months. Or what was one of the things that they were saying that it'll hit theaters and then 3 weeks later it'll go to a streaming service?
Yeah, that was like a deal we read about last year. Yeah, I think it was 3 months, but I know what he's talking about. Yeah, I think that's the case. Like, right, I think they would still run it in theaters for the 4 months, but after, again, a hypothetical, after the 2 months, let's say they put it in Peacock, now people have the option of, do I want to watch it at home on Peacock, or do I want to go out to the theaters and watch it on the big screen?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out too. What happens to what's the minimum or maximum? Can it be 1 month? Can it be 2 weeks? Can it be?
I don't. That's why the article was like very vague, and I was like, wait. So what? I had the same question. I was like, so they could just do it whenever, like.
So now I'm gonna have to, me personally, I have to look up a website or something and look up where each company has it until so many months. Like all. I need this on a website somewhere so I can just.
Or this could also be just to break our heads even more. This could be also on a movie by movie basis. Like they could wait Jurassic World for 4 months, but maybe do like Minions for like 2 months. So there you go. They're playing strings, man.
But regardless, though, we're gonna see the movie in theaters. That's for sure. I mean,
for Sal, it's better for him to watch it if it's a whatever price thing with how many people he has. But so now on posters, I want it released in theaters this, streaming this, whenever after that.
They won't
that's
do
what
that
I
shit.
Need on posters now.
They won't do that shit.
That's what I need now.
All right, speaking of what companies won't do, let's switch gears to video games. And you know, we've been talking a lot about Xbox lately. I want to make sure we give Sony its fair
we talk a lot about Nintendo today.
Into its spotlight. Because, you know, I'm the Xbox fanboy, and so it's not fair that we always talk about Xbox. So Mike is the PlayStation fanboy, and so we got to make sure we talk about PlayStation. Why indie publishers are fed up with PlayStation.
I bet they are.
A group of indie publishers have taken to Twitter this week to express their frustrations with the console giant, pointing out issues. And here are their issues. The lack of transparent processes, poor communication, an extremely limited ability to discount games, an inability to get games promoted on the store without either obscure or expensive methods, gives developers no ability to manage their games. In order to get promotion, you must jump through hoops, beg, and plead for any level of promotion, and a blog is not as good as they think it is. If they don't like your game, then you get no fanfare, no feature, no love. to get approved that it's extremely challenging or even expensive to get a single developer kit, which points out this one person pointed out that Xbox has provided developer kits to either themselves, colleagues, easily, and also for free. What else was there? I think those were most of them. I don't know if I got them all, but that was pretty much it. So it just seems like, I mean, there was, I think, maybe 6 to 10 indie publishers that were interviewed about this, and they all were not very happy with PlayStation, which is kind of weird because last summer they did like an indie initiative where they were giving out a shit ton of money to indie publishers.
Yeah, but there was a lot of indie showcasing that they showed for PlayStation.
I think maybe that month when they did the initiative, but if you ever look back though on any of their events, they don't really like highlight a lot of their indie games.
Not a lot. They do show some indie games, but they're not really they're not what's that word I want to say, that they don't really rely on indie games to sell their products.
True.
Yeah.
But then that kind of sucks for the indie developer.
It does sucks. It does. That's why it's a cruel business. That's how the way that I see it. It sucks that they're trying to not work with other indie companies to try to see if their games will sell or not. I'm guessing what Sony is that they're looking at some of these indie games and be like, would this sell? Would this sell? Okay, this will do good for sure. This probably will not. Okay, no, fuck you. It sucks. It's like a Shark Tank business at this point where with Sony. And in my opinion, I think Sony should definitely look into a lot of more indie games because right now there's not a lot of things going on in PS5 and also too PS4. So,
Oh, I think he said so, right? No, I agree with everything what Mike said. Like, there's not much indie stuff, and then when we do see it, then it's like, okay, what was that again? And it's never talked about again. I still think is we just talked about a Deathloop. Is that an indie game? I guess is it? Is it not?
No. It's a first-person shooting game. It's a main game.
And that sort of seems like an indie game. That's why I'm like, is it out yet? Did it already come out? It's not out.
No.
I'm not sure what other games they really talked about. When we saw the Xbox event, we saw plenty of indie games, I think.
But and they look very interesting.
They always do a montage of indie games, like a good, like maybe 5-minute montage of like their ID, their independent developers.
Aren't they all on Xbox Game Pass?
I believe so, but that helps like the promotion of that game.
It's a synergy of, hey, we have indie games. Hey, they're on Xbox Game Pass. Hey, they're on Xbox Game Pass, so get that to play indie games that we are promoting. So it's just a cycle that actually works very well, whereas PlayStation does not have that, or Sony, whatever you want to call them.
And Nintendo always has their indie showcase that they always do to make sure they highlight all the indie games that are coming to their hit console.
So, no, the article makes 100% sense, and yeah, fuck them.
Sony or indies?
No, Sony.
Yeah.
All right, talking about being fucked over, let's talk about this last one from Sony.
I go to indies all the time.
Because Mike's a fan of Ghost of Tsushima, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be happy about this.
Well, before you say that, I heard something bad about God of War too, but we won't talk about that.
Sony fans bicker over PS5 paywall. In a week, we saw Sony confirm its acquisition of Housemarque. That was the other one I couldn't remember, Housemarque, which ports over a lot of games. So like Dark Souls games, that Housemarque is responsible for making sure that they're able to work on Sony. So Sony bought them. Anyway, they also announced an enhanced edition of Ghost of Tsushima. You excited, Mike?
The PS5 version got it? Fuck you.
No, PS4 got it too.
Yeah, fuck you too.
What's this enhanced version?
It's the director's cut, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Ghost of Tsushima director's cut. Hey, Mike, guess how much you're gonna have to pay for that upgrade, though?
Do I have to pay another fucking $60 for that?
No. come on, be reasonable.
I'll go with the middle ground,
$30 for that.
Nah, 20.
$20 for that.
For what?
For his PS4 version to be upgraded to the director's cut version on the PS4.
But what is the director's cut?
What does it bring?
I think there's like a new island or something on there. It's basically like a DLC content thing.
Exactly. Okay, thank you.
Now, if you wanted to upgrade your existing PS4 version and then further to a PS5, not only do you have to pay that $20 to get the director's cut, but to get the PS5 director's cut, you have to add another $10 on top of that.
Are you serious? I can't fucking transfer it over?
Nope. Yeah, the PlayStation 5 version of the game offers a number of upgrades. So let's talk about those upgrades, including DualSense specific features like 3D audio and faster loading times, but also lip sync for English and Japanese voiceovers. These are pretty essential features for the PS5 version of the game. Unfortunately, this is one of the PS4 to PS5 upgrades that's going to cost you, and we already went over that cost. Given that the vast majority of PS5 upgrades have been given freely, there are some who think locking many of the new PS5 features behind a paywall isn't the greatest move Sony could have made. So even if you get the PS5 version of the director's cut, it doesn't sound like you get everything. I don't know. That's kind of weird. I think if you get the PS5 Ghost of Tsushima, then you don't get everything, but you have to get the director's cut to get all the extra bonus features that you get with the PS5. Which in turn then makes
a lot.
That makes in turn the game a $70 value if you buy it off a PS5.
Now I'm wondering, is this Sony or is this the developers of the game? Because we talked about last year with, hey, we're gonna have free upgrades or whatever, but a certain time has to pass, and we don't know who's gonna do what. That is a
weird conversation to have, because this is kind of where we have to bring in what Xbox does and why theirs kind of doesn't make sense either. So apparently the upgrading thing is a developer's decision. Mm-hmm. The developer decides, okay, these are the upgrades. Either we give them for free or we charge them. Mm-hmm. So with Sony, you have to pay for it, right? They're gonna make money off of it. Although I think Sony has a bigger hand in this. I'll kind of put in my conspiracy theory later. Going back to Xbox though, Xbox has smart delivery, and they promised they promised that their games, no matter what version you buy on, is going to work on all consoles.
Xbox One.
So even like, let's say Ghost of Tsushima was on Xbox. Then with smart delivery, you would pay nothing extra to get those like extra features on whichever on the Xbox Series X, right? If you got on Xbox One, then you would get those extra features. If you bought your Xbox Series X, no extra cost, nothing. It's all through smart delivery.
Hold on, I forgot.
Developers have to opt into that though.
But is this digital or hard or both?
Digital.
I think it's hard. Both.
I thought it was digital.
What difference would it make?
Well, I mean, just wondering. I mean, how would they do that with the saves and with whatever? Just an update online. Yeah, I was just wondering. I don't remember.
Probably. I mean, so Spider-Man Remastered did the same thing, right? Like you have to upgrade to the PS5 version, but you had to pay that extra money. And I think you could have done that both. You had a hard disk, you'd have to. I forget what the reasoning was.
No, it was digital as well too, that you had to pay the difference.
Right, but that's the saying. You could do essentially the disc, right? Because in that case, if you're saying that it doesn't work disc for Ghost of Tsushima, then Mike's screwed here. Because if he gets a PS5, then he has to buy the whole game fucking over again.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That's why I wonder what the deal is. Because I've been looking at what is it? Morales game, and it's like $50.
It's confusing of how they're trying to do this, and they're not. And this is what pisses me off, is that they're not explaining to the customers very well at all. Because anybody could be like, "Oh, cool, all right, I guess I have to rebuy the whole entire game." Well, that sucks. And the thing is that PlayStation is just—they're not going to say no to that. They're like, "Okay, yeah, you have to buy the whole entire game." For sure. There's no really good explanation or step-by-step of what's the process of upgrading to get a version of this for the PS5. Just pay the $30, you get the director's cut and the new version of it, I guess, or whatever, and that's it. But It's I fucking hate this. It's so stupid.
So a conspiracy theory I have, and why I think also PlayStation's not having their E3 event ish whatever, is that I feel like they have nothing lined up at all anytime soon for their console. Because it is weird to me now that you get a director's cut for a game that you have to pay extra for on a new console when it's already existed on the PS4. Like, well, you should naturally get those upgrades, which is kind of the problem with the Spider-Man remastered thing. You have the game already, but you can't just, automatically get upgraded to those new features. You have to pay the extra, was it $10 or $20? Or if you just wanted to buy the whole game, it was attached to Miles Morales, which in comparison is not as lengthy as the Spider-Man PS4 game, whatever title you want to give it. And I think there was an issue of God of War, right? The first one, or are we talking to the third one, Ham?
I don't know. I thought it was the new one that they were just talking. I just saw the article and I'm like, oh, but technically, we talked to Mike about this. Wasn't that the last one that came out? What was that?
It was like the God of War. God of War. 4? God of War 4.
That's what I think it was that, but I don't remember what. I just saw it and I'm like, oh, cool. They're gonna have some complaint or whatever it was because of sort of reasoning.
And there's what Last of Us Part 2, I think, got a lot of upgrades, but although I think those were given free through an update, there was also the EA, the Madden, I think it was, where you had to make sure you submit it at a certain time. Otherwise, you have to buy the whole game again if you want it on the next gen. It just seems like PlayStation is taking advantage of its players because it knows it has such a, for the lack of a better term, a hardcore fan base that, oh, well, it's a PS5, it's gonna be better. Of course I'm gonna buy that game all over again. Why wouldn't I? When it doesn't, that doesn't sit well with me, where you're just, that's all you're doing right now with your PS5 is just capitalizing on remasters and director's cuts and just forcing people to pay you extra money because you have nothing original lined up. Like the only thing that stands out is Ratchet and Clank, right? That's it. Like, what's gonna happen when Forbidden West comes out? Horizon, are they gonna do that same bullshit? Because they already said it's coming out for PS4 and PS5. So if I want it on PS5, but I buy it on PS4, am I gonna have to go through the same stupid shit that Ghost of Tsushima is going through? Like, it just seems like a very schemy thing to do when it should just be given naturally. At least the features, right, should be kind of given to you. Now, normally though, let's be fair, people have bought a lot of money or will pay a game all over again for anniversary editions and director's cut.
I always hated that too. At certain games, I'm like, maybe I'll do one or two games, but like it depends how long the game has been out, the original to the anniversary one.
Exactly.
But I always thought that was a scam too.
Sure, but like if I take Halo for example, Halo CE Anniversary came out 10 years after the first one. I think that's fair to say, hey, I'm gonna buy this game all over again because it's been 10 fucking years. I want to see new remake, new features and new updates to the graphics. Ghost of Tsushima came out last year.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's been a full year.
I don't.
No,
August,
you would know better than us.
No, August. It came out in August.
So it hasn't even been a full year, and we get a director's cut that they're charging us more for? Like, that is, I think, a little bit, that's not settling okay.
I think they should have just called it DLC, just not to even get in this predicament.
I think for PS4 people, yeah, that is DLC, right? Because you're only paying $20 for the extra stuff. Because I think you do get one extra island or something like that. I haven't played the game, so I don't know what those areas are called.
Yeah, which I don't know if an island's that big enough for it to be considered a DLC or what to do. Yeah.
It's really not. Probably, I think what it is that they're unlocking.
That's what Fallout 76 is doing.
But this game is better. I think it's just unlocking another area that you could go to, or maybe new weapons, and also to remember that the game has online as well. So maybe
Which is weird though, because they gave that for free.
They gave that for free, but more likely that you're paying that $20 for armor, weapons, skins, and a whole bunch of other different things that I still disagree. I don't know. I just think they should just give it out for free, but that's how they make their money. But I don't know. We'll see. I got to read into it a lot more.
I don't know. I think Sony has to. I feel like Sony, for me to buy a PS5, needs to do something more, I think, consumer friendly than kind of upcharge people for buying a new console. Like, I already spent a lot of fucking money buying your console. Not, I'm just saying hypothetically. I don't have a PS5. So why should I spend it just feels like they're nickel and diming me. And I don't want to feel that way if I'm going to buy a new console. Like, if I buy a new console, I want to be able to play the games I already have just easily on your new. Give me at least a minor updates and stuff. Don't force me to pay an extra $5 or $2 or whatever money just to get that PS5 version. Like, if I want PS5 exclusive games to look good, that's an expectation, yes. But you're simply just upgrading this within a year time span. I don't know. That's just weird. I just don't like it. Not.
Good job, PlayStation. Sony, you did it again.
We winning.
All right, that's it. We're gonna end it there because we don't have time for Ham's favorite game. Sorry, Ham.
Yeah, I'm getting tired.
Yeah, it's late. So next week, obviously, we'll be talking about Black Widow and giving our fair share on that. Hopefully,
and if you guys don't forget too, we can also do Loki.
Oh shit, that's right. The last episode will be up next week.
We'll do a Marvel double feature.
Marvel double feature. Yeah. And there is something else that's coming out that I don't think Mike is aware of or doesn't brought up yet, but I know I'm gonna watch it. The Resident Evil CG series that's going to be on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I forgot this week.
Why? I like Resident Evil.
Yeah, what's the last game you played? You dick. 7.
Wait, that's the only game you've played? I mean, that's not that I can't speak, but I'm just saying that you said you're a hardcore Resident Evil fan.
I'm not I'm not a hardcore Resident Evil fan, but I like the Resident Evil games.
Wait, what?
I like the storyline. I've watched all of them.
Okay, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah.
If you watched all of them. Oh, are you talking about the movies or the games?
The games. The movies.
I don't remember the movies. I just know that they're fucking bad.
Yeah, I think I might have seen all the movies, but yeah, they all just come into one fucking.
That's okay. Next week we'll keep it to Marvel then, just for you, Ham.
Yeah, I don't know. Right. You can mention it in the intro. I'll give you that.
You suck.
All right. Any closing words, gentlemen?
Guys, take care. I love you. Follow our social media, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Drunk Competent Teacher, not MySpace. Don't make an account for us, guys, please.
But do please, yes.
This is why we'll never get sponsored by MySpace.
I guess I'll see you guys in the future.
Green card.
We're changing your shit to a yellow. Fuck you.
I'll change yours to a green for Dynasty Warriors.